Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehanik ner shel Hanukkah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim lavoteinu bayamim ha'im bazman hazeh.
חנרות חללו אנחנו מדליקים, אך הניסים ואך הנפלאות והשועות ועל מלחמות שעשית לאבותינו בימים חכם בזמן הזה. בכל 8 ימי חנוכה הנרות חללו קודשם, ואין לנו רשות להשתמש בהם, אלא לראותם בלבד, כדי לחודות ולחלל לשמך הגדול על נשיך ועל נפלאותיך ועל ישועתך.
מעוז צור ישועתי לך נאה לשבח, תיקון בית תפילתי ושם תודה נזבח, לעת תכין מטבח מצר המנבח, אז אגמור בשיר מזמור חנוכת המזבח, אז אגמור בשיר מזמור חנוכת המזבח.
Hi there, I'm Scott, and this is GreatScott Knitting, Vlognukkah Night 5. Happy Hanukkah. Welcome to all of my new viewers who may be checking out this channel. I hope you enjoy the what little bit we have going on here, especially during this holiday season. And to those of you who are returning, thank you for joining us today. And of course, this here is Miss Freya. She's our trusty companion. So welcome in. So night 5 of Hanukkah, how exciting. So for those of you who are new, this is my little corner of the knitting universe, knitting and fiber. So tonight, to sort of expand a little bit of what we're talking about in terms of fiber and knitting, I will talk about my work in progress, which is still my hat, which I had to rip out, if you well remember. But I have begun the decreases. I just have a couple of decrease rounds that I have done. You can kind of see it there. And yeah, so that's coming along. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through a little bit of my stash over the next few nights. So tonight is worsted. And by that I mean my worsted and Aran weight yarns. So to start that discussion, I'm going to talk about my my store-bought. They're all really store-bought, but my yarns that came to me with a particular yarn, a color to it. So the first few skeins that I'm going to share with you are from the now defunct Knit Crate company, which is so sad. So Knit Crate, for those of you who may not be aware, used to be, I have to say it in past tense, used to be a company that put together yarn kits, a monthly yarn kit, and oftentimes it wasn't mystery, although you could make it a mystery if you chose to subscribe in that fashion. But they would put out sock yarn and then non-sock yarn, and if you got the non-sock yarn, you would get 2 skeins of yarn. If you got the sock crate, then you would get a single skein. You would get a set of patterns for socks and for other items that were both crochet and knitting, and as well as a little knitting extra. Well, they no longer exist. They went out of business. A lot of that is due to the pandemic and the shipping and supply issues that came due to the pandemic. And they just could never get back on their feet. And the bank came in and closed them out, which is really sad. But I still have some of their yarn. This first skein is Audine Wool's Sleek, and this colorway is called Bliss. It is a bright orange, and this base was really a super base. It was a 55% merino wool, 30% baby alpaca, 15% mulberry silk. It's very soft, and as you can tell, it has this lovely sheen, and that's pretty true to its color. It's very vibrantly orange. I had about 2 skeins of this and then several skeins of some other colors that I have used in other projects. I've over-dyed this to sort of alter its coloration a little bit. But I still have 1 skein of this. I have 2 skeins of Audine Wool's Harmony. And this colorway is called Jazz. It's a 41% wool, 26% alpaca, 23% tencel, and 10% baby camel. So it's this kind of a camel colored yarn. I have a couple of skeins of this. It has a nice, you can kind of see there's a little halo from that alpaca and camel. There we go. Back in. So it is has a nice feel. It's not as soft as this merino blend, but it is still very soft. Has a lovely halo, but it's a little toothier to the feel, but not in any way uncomfortable. It's certainly not a scratchy kind of yarn. So I have 2 skeins of this. This comes in at about 150 yards. So it's definitely an Aran weight. So about 300 yards of Aran weight. And this one comes in at 220. So definitely a worsted weight. So there's those. Now I have some random skeins. So last year they put out some mystery bags where they just threw skeins in to their bag, and here are some of those. I'm thinking this is Audine Wool's Chill, which is a 90% Surrey alpaca, 10% cashmere in a colorway that they didn't use. And I have a couple others that are also colorways that they didn't actually make use of. And these are about 150 yards as well, if my estimation of what these are, because they didn't come labeled and there was no way of knowing. So I just kind of had to make guesses as to what. So there's these 2 colorways, sort of this, it's a chestnutty brown color, and then this sort of dark, I call it kind of navy, but you can kind of tell it's kind of tonal, has some different, it's not just a solid color, but they're really quite lovely feeling. And I definitely want to do something with those. Actually, one more thing that I do have from Knit Crate from this past year is a set in Knitology worsted. And this is a set of 4 50-gram skeins. And the color set is called Dune. And it's these lovely cream to sort of a slate gray, bluish gray. So creams and sort of the sagey green, and then the slate blue gray. So some color work potential there. Really quite fun. Oh, and the makeup of this yarn is, I have no idea. I have no recollection. Oh wait, it is in here, and I just can't get to it easily. Yeah, can't get to it easily. All right, now for one of my favorite dyers is Malabrigo, and I have several of their colorways as well. I have some Azul Profundo, a single skein. Man, there's lots of dog hair on this, which is really sad. But Azul Profundo, which is this deep blue kind of and then there's Matisse Blue, which you can tell is just this bright blue, which is really lovely. I have some Arco Iris, and I have some Procyon. So these are all Malabrigo Rios. So kind of a DK, maybe a little heavy DK, kind of. It's 210, so no, it's definitely a worsted. But sometimes they're called DK. Yeah. So there's these that I have, which no idea what I'm going to do with any of this yarn, but so those are my skeins that I bought pre-dyed. And so here are some of my hand dyeds. This is, I believe this is 100% merino, non-superwash that I dyed up in blues and greens and yellows, which is really pretty. Here's a skein of 100% superwash merino. It's kind of a leave no dye behind, blues and greens and purples. There's some purple in there. I think there's some purple in there. This is another sort of leave no dye behind, blues and purples that I did. And it's I think this is also the 100% super or non-superwash merino. These two are definitely non-superwash merino. There we go. They are two separate shades of this sort of blue, of tealish green, bluish green. But I really like them both. So I think they'll make some nice hats, really any of these. And then this final one, which is, again, just this crazy quilt of colors, which I just found fascinating. I think this was some extra dye that I had from some dyeing that I did this summer. There's even some white left behind in this. So it's very rainbowish, just tons and tons of color. But yeah, so much fun with this skein, lots and lots going on. But I think it'll make, a cowl or a hat that would be really fun and vibrant. So those are all just single skeins of yarn that I have going on in my worsted stash. And so that is the worsted stash that I'm sharing with you. I have a lot of other worsted weight yarn. You can kind of see some still back there that I don't talk about. They're ones that are kind of junk yarns that I probably won't do a lot with. May eventually stash it, give away and destash. But so that's a little bit of my yarn stash. So tomorrow I think we're going to delve into my DK and sport weights just to see what I have going on there. And so that leads us to our Scott Talk for night 5 of Hanukkah. And tonight I want to talk about abundance. As we now have 5 candles that are in our Hanukkah, the light is getting much brighter. And we start to realize that as we light each new candle with the shamesh, which is that center candle that we light first before we say the blessings, that as that shamesh lights each of the individual candles, its light is not diminished, but in truth, the light continues to grow. And to me, that is sort of the essence of abundance, that I can give without losing anything, without giving up anything of my own. That actually, as I give of myself to others, the light, the love, the goodness, the passion, everything that is worthwhile grows as opposed to diminishing. So from that, I know that if a friend of mine is successful at something that I like to do, it doesn't detract from me and what I'm doing. Actually, it creates more of that thing that I love in the world. So I love to knit, and I love to see other people succeed and be, really good at knitting and being recognized for being really good at knitting, because that means there's more good knitters in the world. Same thing with yarn dyeing. And this one was kind of tough for me, but it's that idea that I can dye yarn and really enjoy what I'm doing and have other people enjoy it and even purchase it. But other people can be even better than me, and that's okay. That doesn't detract from my joy of doing the dyeing and sharing that joy with others through people, purchasing my yarn. So that's kind of the idea of abundance for me. So a couple of quotes, or one quote that I want to leave you with is from Amanda Gorman. She's this young poet. I think she was like 16, 17, maybe 19. I don't know. She's extremely young. She's the inaugural poet for President Biden. And there's a quote at the end of her inaugural poem, a couple of lines that I think are pertinent here. There is always light if we are brave enough to see it. If only we are brave enough. Oh, wait, yes. Let me restart again. There is always light if we're brave enough to see it. If only we're brave enough to be it. And I think that is just very true to night 5. And so with that, I hope you're having a wonderful holiday. I hope that you are staying warm. I know that there have been some winter storms across the country today. So I hope you are safe and warm and comfortable. And for those of you who are in other parts of the world, keep us in your thoughts as we deal with very, very cold temperatures across the country. And so happy holidays to you all. Until tomorrow, may you have peace in your home and the fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Good night.